Good morning. I think I think I was in bed for about an hour. Got an hour's, I think. We're getting a very very small food order here in 30 minutes, uh, delivered by Walmart. They just sent a email saying that one item cannot be delivered, but they will send it separately. Um, at no charge for delivery. I mean, they're charging for the item. The item is a skillet. I forget how much it is. This is a bad view here. Let's see. That's better. Okay, that's about 2 hours ago. I made a video, and there were like 5 or more things in there. I forget how long the video was. I think it was about a 30-minute video. There were 5 items in there. Number one, the confirmation, and I talked a little bit about it, the COLA, cost of living increase thing that they do once a year. The amount has been confirmed, but I, we mentioned, I mentioned that several months back that they pretty much knew, but then it's been confirmed now that next year the cost of living increase will be such and such. Yeah, I think I'll be about $50 a month extra that I get from Social Security. Um, so that was one thing. Now this naked man was not on the in the video, but there was a, let's see if I can find the email. Well, let me wait a minute. Uh, got an email from YouTube. I just made a video. Okay, I made a video 2 hours ago. There was 5 different things covered. One was the cost of living increase, and I put a link below to information about that. Not here, but on the uh, anyway. The thing that came from YouTube was, okay, we have a policy. I forget exactly what it says. I could read it to you. Let's see. This shows. Let me go to my email. Hang on a second. I'm going to pause this while I. Okay, I am back. Okay. Okay, now let me pull up this, which hopefully you won't see. Hopefully I'm just because I don't want any kind of violation things. Let's see. Okay, now I gotta bring this over so I can read it. Hi, Jim Howard. We wanted to let you know our team reviewed your content, and we think it violates our spam, deceptive practices, and scams policy. We know you may not have realized that this was a violation of our policies, so we're not applying a strike to your channel. However, we have removed the following content from YouTube. And so, okay, you know something? now that I see this, I see what they did is they removed one item, one of the links, an msn.com thing about the see BBC front page, phone and TV blackout, okay, that's the headline. That's never mind. That was the title of the video. So what they removed was not the entire video. They removed the thing about the blackout, which came from msn.com, that there was going to be a temporary block on October 4th for 1 minute to test. Okay. Well, I wish I was tired this morning. I went ahead and, well, I let it stay I thought, fuck them. And then I just went to bed. And I woke up, I think, an hour and a half later. That's now. And I got up and I just, okay, fuck them. God damn, So I just went ahead and deleted it. I think 10 of you watched that video. And I deleted it. And now I've come over here to talk to you. And I see that they apparently just removed that thing about the temporary block on October 4th for, for 1 minute telephone and cell phones, I guess, and telephones, I guess, and where else would it have been? And television for 1 minute, which is a good thing. I mean, that they're testing the thing to make sure it works when they need it, and let's hope they don't ever need it. But I didn't realize that they had just removed that msn.com story. So I already deleted that entire post. Me. I shouldn't do videos when I'm tired, I guess. So I wish I hadn't deleted it now. And I could have just gone in and, well, they already deleted it, apparently, that short. I'm holding up my hands and you can't see it, I don't think, can you? Then the other thing was this very small order we're getting. Darlene ordered a skillet. Was it a skillet or a 16-inch pan for the oven, for a tray for the oven to cook stuff on? I can't remember now. And anyway, they're going to deliver here in about 30 minutes. Our very small order for food, except for that pan. But the thing said, okay, well, we can't deliver it, but we will send it to you for free, if you want it. So I went and clicked, okay, send it. And then it said, well, we can't send it to that address. So I don't understand that. We order a lot from Walmart. So I just forwarded that email to Darlene and let her, I think she's going to do this. I just went in and told her. I think she's just going to say, well, we'll just order from Amazon. And she loves Walmart. She thinks that Walmart is cheap and that they're inexpensive, and they deliver. she thinks they deliver for free, but I pay whatever their fee is that they deliver for free. Of course, we tip the recommended tip, etc., etc. Anyway, I just wish that she would. I know she wants to order food from Walmart. That's fine. And I leave all that food ordering up to her. I don't want to be involved in it. And I leave that up to her. But now, okay. And minimize what I've been reading here. Okay. And this is what you're seeing. I see what you're seeing. I see what you're seeing. Except, what's this? No, that's the inbox. Where's the other thing? That must be, yeah, this is it. Naked man walking through Dallas-Fort Worth Airport. Interesting. The American public is, in a large degree, so stupid about some things. As you know, I posted in the past on my WordPress and on YouTube about back for many, many, many years, swimming nude in schools and swimming pools and other places was perfectly illegal to do. They did it. Thousands did it. YMCA, Young Men's Christian Association, they had, facilities in major cities for, back when, during the Depression and after the Depression and stuff like that. They had all kinds of facilities. Swimming was one of them. An awful lot of young boys and girls learned to swim, in these facilities. And because of the early swimming pools not being very good on filtration, you were not allowed to swim in the swimming pool you had to swim naked. You couldn't swim with a swimming suit on because fibers or something clogged up the filters and caused trouble. Anyway, I thought that was an interesting story. I thought it was an interesting story because I found out about that, a few years ago. I'm not sure if it was 10 years ago. Might be longer than that because I think I in my WordPress thing, I blogged about that. I blogged about it there and gave information about it, and a whole bunch of people said that never happened. Nude swimming was never allowed in the United States. That is horrible. That goes against God's law. So I posted another thing. No, this happened from such and such a date to such and such a date. Here is a newspaper article. Here's another newspaper article that shows it, and it shows them naked. But of course, these are newspaper articles, and you can imagine you couldn't see anything. Because of And then I posted some links of people, and then a few people left a comment, on my thing saying, yeah, I was such and such an age, and I went to the, YMCA, and I had to swim naked, Jim, and it didn't bother me or whatever. Anyway, and then people posted comments, no, that, more comments. People, no, that never happened, with this is a godly Christian nation. Oh, Jesus Christ, help us, Jesus. Jesus, Mary, and Joseph, where are you when we fucking need you? And so I posted a few things about it. So eventually when I moved to YouTube, at some point, I posted it on my YouTube site. It's still on my YouTube site, someplace. I mean, you're not going to see, you're not going to see anything. I mean, you see a few pictures taken that were, posted like during World War II. Our soldiers were, out there naked. They came to an ocean or they came to a good place and they cracked open the beers, got naked, jumped in to cool off, all that kind. And then there was things about the YMCA and all that type of stuff and the dates and that kind of stuff. Same, same thing. But we have some people. Never happened. This is a godly nation. And then you got people saying, yeah, it happened, There's some movies too, by the way. I never can remember the name of the one movie. It's a cute little movie. And about a Catholic, I went to a Catholic high school. So, it's, about a Catholic high school, Christian brothers. See, were they Christian brothers there? I think they were Christian brothers. No, I think maybe they were priests. Can't remember now. I wish I could remember that. I never can remember the name of the thing. But I like it because it's about I went to a Catholic high school, and the things, I recognize it. But anyway, there's a thing, you don't see anything, but where the boys are lined up. See, it's all boys, of course, school, I went to De La Salle Military Academy, Christian Brothers School, all male, all boys. And they didn't have any swimming there. I couldn't afford it, I don't think. Maybe I never went out for anything. Maybe they did have swimming, but I don't think it was nude, I think that was over by then. But anyway, I really like this movie. But in the movie, that's one of the scenes is at the swimming pool, and the boys for that class are lined up, and they're naked. Of course, you don't see anything, You don't see anything. They're naked, but you don't see anything. And so that's a good one. And I like movies like that, by the way. And that's St. Ralph. I love that movie. I've watched it a bunch of times. It's about a Canadian a boy who goes to Catholic high school in Canada. Not a real, it's, it's a movie made up. And St. Ralph is a really good movie. And there's several other movies like that I like about anyway. Oh, God. In the law, in many states, it's okay to be naked. In many cities, counties, and places, it's okay to be naked. There is, Now one, if for some reason I wanted to protest, I gotta think of something that's like appropriate, whatever. High taxes or something. I could go to the courthouse, and it's going to vary with jurisdictions. It's going to depend too, if there's a school down at the end of the block, or something. There's variables that enter into this. But I could go to the courthouse, federal courthouse, U.S. Well, of course, a federal courthouse would be under federal jurisdiction, so far as stuff like that was concerned. If I could go to a city or state courthouse, naked, I could have a sign, The sign would make it better. The government taxes are too high. We don't even they're taking everything away from us. They're taking our clothes. I could do something like that. Now, probably local police or whatever it was in the jurisdiction, probably they would show up and, you damn son of a bitch, get your goddamn clothes on, I'm going to, and if you said anything, well, probably they'd just roll up anyway and just, let me see your hands. And they would probably arrest you. And then you'd go to court, and if you could afford, an attorney. No, it says right here. The thing, and of course, the laws are going to vary because you have 50 states, and their wording is going to be slightly different or whatever, unless they've copied it, passed it on to other states. Okay, you can pass this. If you go to protest something, like burning the American flag, people, you can't burn the American. Yeah, you can burn the American. It's been to the Supreme Court numerous times. You can burn the American. You're doing a protest. You can protest. It's freedom of speech. You can burn the American flag. Would I do it? No, because a lot of people died and suffered serious injuries and all kinds of things. You know, fighting to protect our country and that type of stuff. So, but you can protest naked. Also, you can, in jurisdictions, you can just walk down the street. What it comes into is, what is your intention? If you're going down the street naked, or you're going to have people calling immediately. Well, now in the United States, with the proliferation of guns, and with people saying, you can't step on my property, you can't, I don't know who you are, and they're shooting through the door, and I mean, all the shit that happens, it'd be I wouldn't walk down the street naked. You'd be in danger, and probably if you were exercising your, if there was no law against it, which there isn't, although there's 50 states and a big country, someplace they may have passed some law which would not probably be constituted. What it boils down to, in the things that I've seen in the states that I've seen, the law, if you're protesting something, your homeowners association thing, they won't allow you to plant flowers in your front yard, or it could be that the homeowners association, if you buy a house someplace or whatever, they have all kinds of rules and regulations in there. You can't have an antenna up. You can't work on your car in your driveway. Your own, can't work on your car, and it has, there's just a tremendous number of steps. So for your homeowners association, if you were naked out there protesting, I mean, that should be okay. But now, if you're naked out there protesting and you drive down to the local grade school, I think it'd be the same with the high school. But hang on a second, a phone call. I think somebody's asking a question. Okay, I'm back. The ex-wife is having to use her breathing machine. Our cat is meowing. All kinds of stuff going on. Where was I? Okay, if your intention, the way a bunch of the laws are written, if you're intending to arouse somebody, if that's what you're attempting to do, now even if you're not successful, if your intention is to do that, if you're, then you can be charged with being naked, and of course, that wouldn't be, then they would add on the thing that with the intention of arousing somebody, if I don't know, I'm not a lawyer, why I didn't want to get on this subject anyway. How did I get on here? Anyway, we've got a food delivery that's due in 8 minutes. Hang on a second. I got to check the tracking here. I'm going to pause this again because if I click on the wrong thing, my address is going to pop up and stuff like that. So. Okay, the driver is 2 minutes away with the food. I don't think we're getting anything that good. Well, we're getting a rotisserie chicken or something, rather. I'm going to go ahead and stop this. I'm going to leave it here. I just deleted one video. I'm going to leave it here, but I think the whole thing has been sort of I'm upset about deleting. Well, I'm upset about the deleting that video for some reason. I don't know why. Because YouTube didn't charge me with, it's not listed as a, violation of whatever that's going to hurt me or be recorded against me or anything like that. But I got into sidetrack talking about the nude swimming in the United States at schools and other places that a large portion of the American people refuse to fucking believe happened, just like a large number of the American people believe that COVID-19 didn't exist or that it did exist, but I don't want to say something because somebody might go out and drink something if I mentioned, something with the crazy shit that's been going on, or, God. If I'm not saying that you have to believe everything that's in the newspapers, but back in the I did want to mention something. I'm gonna come back to this video because I think I've mentioned it several times before, and it's a very short thing. You're not going to think it's interesting, but I find it really interesting in my life, and so I'm going to stop this and come back and go on with that little story that I've told a dozen times because I find it interesting and I don't think anybody else does, Okay, I'm back. We got the grocery order in. I let Darlene take care of all the food ordering and that type of, that type of stuff. Just like the dining room is her, her bedroom, which is right next to the kitchen, and that's her, that's her area. I let her, handle all the kind of, I have way up in the air, I have different cooking containers, things that I have bought, for cooking different ways and everything. They're all up, way up above towards the ceiling because she doesn't want them. And she can't make a place. She will not, it's disorganized. I like things organized. That's probably not, the best, but we have 2 sinks, She, I don't want to go through my whole list of complete, just everything is disorganized, and that upsets me. But, and we just got our grocery order. I wish she also would not order. In this case, she ordered a small. Well, we can always use this stuff, but I wish she would order larger orders instead of getting a small order. And it doesn't work out well. She was really looking forward to a rotisserie, or whatever you call it, a chicken, and they didn't have that. And so now she's upset about that. I'm having a bad day. I was going to tell you. Oh, I know what I was going to tell you. I'm going to go back to that story, which I've told before. And it's probably not going to fit in. It's kind of out of place now or whatever. Anyway, oh, nude swimming in the United States, which tremendous numbers of people say never took place. There was no nude swimming there's pictures of it, even pictures that were in the newspapers of. And of course, you couldn't say anything. Kids were in the water, But they just don't believe they don't believe their eyes, and they don't, they just can't, and they're over there, and facts don't change their mind. But anyway, okay, I went to Catholic schools all my life, well, except one junior college, and stuff, and the police academy and stuff like that, of course. Of course, times were different. That was before the internet, of course, too. So I was in grade school, and I'd never seen a naked person. I didn't have any brothers or sisters. I never saw my parents naked. I never saw my parents show any affection to each other. Never, I never saw them kiss or anything like that. I saw them drinking. So anyway, I never saw a naked person. I didn't have any brothers or sisters. All I had was myself. I saw myself naked. My father's family, he had 5 or 6 brothers. He had 3 sisters. A large family. Most of those, most of the Howards had 10, 11 kids, or whatever. Now, there was one cousin that was a only child. That was with one of my father's sisters. Did that sound right? Wait a minute. Then the other, so I would, when I was a kid, in grade school or whatever, I'd wait for the Sears catalog, Sears and Roebuck catalog to come, like twice a year, a winter version, I think, and a summer version. And then there was Montgomery Ward's, same thing, big, thick, to show up. And then when it would come, of course, I was only, both my parents worked. I was, during the summer, I was home alone. I was like a latchkey, too. I mean, But anyway, when the Sears and Montgomery Ward catalog would come, I'd open up and go to girls' underwear and swimsuits or whatever. Then I think I went to the women's section. I still hadn't seen a naked person. Anyway, so I got dropped off by my mother at her brother's, place. Her brother, was married, and they had 3 kids, and a boy, a girl, and a boy. And the oldest was Billy. He was a year younger than I was. And out of all these cousins that I had, I didn't really hang out with any. They didn't go to the same, but they were kids, 10 kids, 11 kids, whatever. And when they were in Catholic school, probably there was one of them in every grade or whatever, or every, year. So, my mother's family, there was, like I said, the 3 kids. And Billy was a year younger than I was. His mother, Willie, really a wonderful woman, and my mother's brother, not such a great, guy. Alcoholism, big time, and act and behavior that was, totally inappropriate, So Billy was the only family that the only family I really hung out with, and not much of that. Maybe, uh, uh, I don't know, count on your hand, I mean, maybe the times that I saw him. Once or twice I spent the night at his place, and maybe 3 times he spent the night at my place. But anyway, so my mother dropped me off over there. Like I said, I was in grade school, and arrived, and like I said, Willie was a really nice person, his mother. And she of course knew I was coming and everything. She said, "Oh, well, Billy's at the uh, swimming pool," and she said, "Well, you can go over there. Just go on over. It's down a few blocks this way, and just go over there." And she said, "You can swim with him." And I said, "Well, I didn't bring a swimming suit." And she said, "Oh, you're not allowed to wear a swimming suit there." And I thought, huh, naked people. So I headed over that way, and met him halfway coming back. Damn, I didn't get to see a naked person. I didn't say that or anything, but so based on that information that I had all my life, I thought, wow, that's how nice of the YMCA, because they were poor kids, in that neighborhood, and I thought that's really nice. They don't make them have to, buy a swimming suit, and so that's what I thought until a few years ago. I don't know well, when I was doing the WordPress thing. That's quite a while ago. I thought that YMCA, Young Men's Christian Association, were, you didn't have to wear a swimsuit, so these poor kids wouldn't have to come up with money for a swimsuit. Then someplace I ran across it, or I found, oh, there was nude swimming back in the YMCA and blah, blah, blah. Wow. And then I realized at some point, because, well, some of these people, that, were involved in that growing up, left comments on my WordPress site. And then that's when I realized, oh no, the reason they didn't have the swimsuits was the cotton or whatever it was clogged up and so they did it for that reason, because it was messing their swimming pools up, and so they had some things for that to take, that was to take care of that. And so then I realized, oh, okay, that wasn't the reason. The reason was the filters. And then when the chlorine came in, or whatever, however it came, or the filters, I guess, just got better, then they didn't have to do that anymore. So that was kind of funny that I thought, I thought that or whatever. Now, I never found it funny that large numbers, of people. Now, these people, the articles I found from way back, newspaper stories and things, some of the stuff was covered, but I think it was more like in the early thing of, message boards, things like that, where people were leaving messages for, on the internet and stuff like that. The young men, well, now some of them commenting when they're older, my age or whatever, they answered questions and they talked and they explained about it, and that when they, no air conditioning, back in those days. Well, there was air conditioning. I think they called it air cooling or something, though, because I remember going to an RKO theater downtown with my mother, and you went in, it was like a palace. You went in, it was air conditioning too. You stepped in, wow, because we didn't have any air conditioning. And then you go through and it's like, you go in and, I mean, the seats, everything, wow. But anyway, okay, the guys who made comments or whatever about things, they'd be, I don't know, 6 years old, 7 years old, who know, you know. And they'd say, well, they wanted to go, no air conditioning. They wanted to go swimming, And so the mothers or whatever would, okay. And then they'd find out, no swimming suits, not allowed. And so these men who some of them were, well, I guess they were all talking because I don't think any little kids were writing things, They said, well, I was kind of embarrassed, but as soon as they got there, and then as soon as everybody jumped in the pool, then after that, they were told, okay, no problems with that. Remember one guy mentioned something about that at the school that he went to, there was a female teacher or whatever. Oh, and in some of these cases, the the instructor, the swimming coach or whatever, that was naked too. I think a lot of the time. And a female teacher would come over, of course, clothed. She'd come over and talk to the guy, to the teacher or whatever, deliver a note or do something. So I wonder what her, wonder what was important that she had to come in and But all the kids, there was no problem, Anyway, back to I don't know what. I'm upset about everything. I was looking forward to the rotisserie. That's not the right word. Anyway, a chicken. I'll find something else to eat here. And I'm upset about the, I think I mentioned about the thing that I deleted. And other stuff going on. There's, see, I've been living here in this apartment complex for 16 years, and before I moved here, the ex-wife, she lived here, let's see, 16 plus 4 would be 20, so she lived here 8 years before I got here, and so we've lived here quite a while. This is a nice place. It's in kind of a bad neighborhood, but we don't have any trouble here. Like one block over, all the apartments along there. Yeah. This is a bad neighborhood, but we haven't had any trouble here. And the lady, the manager, and everybody, the manager does a fantastic job, checking everybody and all that kind of stuff. My grown son, I think he's 51. He has some psych problems. We've gone through a lot. It's not easy. But I think they've been really nice here. They have. He's wore out his welcome. And consequently, our lease is going to be up in February. And they're not going to renew our lease. I mean, the manager hasn't said 100%, but she said, 98. I can read, and I don't blame her. It's going to be really difficult for us to find a place. And we're not looking forward to it. It's going to be really a problem. So I really don't like discussing some things. This is one of the things I don't like discussing. So if you want to leave a private message or something, I'm not going to get upset if you leave something in public. But all my life I know how the internet works and all that kind of stuff, and so I never read my children, 4 of them. I don't read their material. I take that back. I do. I have a daughter that is interested in flowers, plants, yards, all that kind of stuff, and I do look at her material. But others, I don't look at their material because I don't want to know what I'm going to be worrying about. And I wish that they wouldn't read my material. I don't say anything really, bad about them, I don't think. But sometimes I think some stuff comes out, and I wish they wouldn't read. I wish what I could do is somehow. I have a private area set up here, but it's not being used. I mean, everything is set up, and I have a private thing set up. There isn't any way that I can control, one of my family members or something getting access to that area. The only way I could do it would be to charge, and then they're not going to. They wouldn't spend a penny to read a material, which would be fine with me. But so I can't say too much. It's not fair for me to, talk about my son's problems, except they're considerable, and so a lot of stress right now, and big time stress finding someplace out. And again, this manager here, she's the same one that's been here when Darlene moved in, before that. So she's been the manager for 22 years. She volunteers her time. I'm not sure she does as much as she is, but with, let's see, COP, Citizens on Patrol. She's an officer in that. I don't know how much patrolling she actually does now, where citizens get some training, and then they can go out and they can put on their car no lights. They don't carry guns. They don't have any red lights. They're not driving a police car. They can use their own vehicle. And there's I've never seen it, but I think you can put on there that said, citizens on patrol or something rather. And then of course they have radios that are connected in with the police, not on the police, but on another line. I think. I don't know how that works. Exactly. But, they see something and then they report it and the police come and check on it. And so she's done that for years, for a long time. She and her husband. She's an officer with the organization, now, and I don't know what his rank is or whatever. I'm not sure. They're probably pretty busy. They're probably not doing as much of that as but she's been very, very nice, very cooperative, and unfortunately we've put her through some concerns, So, I spent 25 years working hospital security, and I had to deal with just about every day, maybe not every day, but I had to dealing with people that had problems. And I've talked about this a little bit. If you watched my videos over the years, you've probably figured out, hey, you've sort of figured out what's going on, because you've seen me talk about the problem of, people who have schizophrenia or manic depressive or whatever the problems they have are. And, the problems and things that have happened in the past to them that under Ronald Reagan, he screwed them over big time and hurt, said he was going to do things to improve their situation, and he did the exact opposite. And that's why a lot of the homeless people on the streets are people who, should be in hospitals. And of course, there are also alcoholics, drug addiction, all kinds of things. There's all kinds of problems that are, and the number of people, I forget I've mentioned it in the past. I forget what the number is. Is it 1 in 20,000 or 1 in 30? You know, the people who have serious mental problems, the number is very high. And not just in the United States, but of course the situation with guns and politics, you know, enters in that you know, that too. So I'm going to continue as long as I can doing, you know, YouTube videos. Might be a little difficult for me to do it living on the street. So we'll see what happens. So this video has been kind of, because I'm upset about it. There's a lot going on, and I kind of wish I could handle some of it, you know, better than what I am handling it. But that goes back to a lot of the stuff that I've seen in dealing, you know, for 25 years with, you know, hospital security. Anyway, thanks for watching.